This day is called the Feast of Crispian.
The Feast of Crispian comes from this speech, this oration of Henry V's in the play of the same name.
He that outlives this day and comes safe home.
It's a military speech. It's a speech from a general to his soldiers.
Will stand a tiptoe when the day is named.
So it makes sense in attaching it to what we do, because the bulk of our work is with veterans. And it is where the phrase, the band of brothers for soldiers, comes from. We few, we happy few, we band of brothers.
The Feast of Crispian is a theater-based, mostly Shakespeare, support program for any traumatized population, but mostly what we do, mostly who we work with are veterans.
We use acting techniques, and particularly the work of William Shakespeare, to engage with people who are trying to deal with trauma.
We're in our 11th year now, so there's several hundred veterans have come through our activities.
It starts off with the veterans coming into the room.
We have had a class in the residential program in the domiciliary for about 5 years, a weekly class. And for about 2 years, we've had a weekly class in the outpatient program.
Mostly it's guys, we do have women. They can be in for depression or suicidality or PTS or any number of things.
So they come in, it's in the rec hall on the 3rd floor of the Milwaukee VA. We bring in real coffee in the morning for everybody, so that's a big treat, and some fruit and things to nourish them. Food, we are the Feast of Crispian after all. And they volunteer for it, and most of them think they're coming to see a Shakespeare play, because it's a little hard to explain what it is we do.
Okay, good morning, good morning. So many faces I'm so happy to see. We are Feast of Crispian. I'm Nancy, this is Bill. Where are you, Jim? And we're gonna get you up today acting Shakespeare. And we've never, ever, not once had somebody who couldn't do it. Maybe number one is just the opportunity to explore emotions. In basic training, they spend a lot of time suppressing your emotions and your emotional expression, because those kinds of things can get you into trouble. What we feel we do here is to be able to offer you a place to start to play with and experiment with and be curious about emotional expression.
We start with a circle. That circle is kind of deep in our bones from a primal place. And it's a place of story, it's a place of magic. Why did King Arthur have a round table? Because it's a community of equals.
We're going to do introductions and a little bit of checking, what we call check-in.
We have a set of questions that are pretty standard. The first question is the landscape of your childhood.
My name is Charlie Walter. Yeah. My landscape of my childhood is the cotton fields of Mississippi.
Where in the world do you feel most yourself?
I left for Vietnam after high school, and from that, where I learned to feel most myself was helping others to help themselves.
Check in with a sensation in your body.
Sensation in my body feels like I feel like I fit in.
And then we ask them to give it a color.
Purple.
I'll share my purple.
So we're starting to ask them to engage their imagination, their sense of self, their memories.
And then we just kind of move on to the day, moving into a series of acting exercises.
This first part is we're gonna just walk about the space, and I'm gonna give you some little different adjustments to think about. And the point of that is to start to wake up a sense of both your imagination and a sense of checking in with yourself. Now imagine yourself leaving something that you are so happy to get away from. And what comes up for you, a feeling, a memory, a thought? And find someone to stop and stand across from. And what are you taking in as you look at this person? What is this story? And walk about the space. And what do you carry with you from that encounter?
It gives you a zap, doesn't it? It's like you're asked to stand there and make eye contact. Some of them can't even do it. If their level of PTSD is pretty high, it's not unusual to get somebody who goes, that was such a privilege to get to do that. I never get to stare into somebody's eyes. That's amazing.
And while you are taking in this person, notice where this person holds their sense of regret. Oh, and remember that as you're seeing them in their regret, they are seeing you in yours. So what is that like, to see and to be seen in regret? And now take in where this person holds their sense of hope and walk about the space.
And I'd like you to take a walk with your teenage or pre-military self. What do you notice about them? How do they feel about walking with you? Are they excited and hopeful? Or are they wary of you? Or do they kind of think you're full of shit? Are they a little bit disappointed in you? And if you could give this young person a piece of wisdom or something they need to know right now, what would you say to them?
It's kind of a big deal, imagination. We kind of use it a lot when we're growing up as children. It's a huge part of how we learn. And then we stop using it a lot. But I think we're finding out more and more with continued research how actually absolutely important imagination is.
So when Charlie and I were looking at each other head on, he was dead set. I kept looking away, and I felt like the whole entire world was watching us. Like white and black, you know what I'm saying? And how they're both staring each other down, but I felt like I can't even look deep into his soul because I can't even imagine. And it's just how like society kind of looks at things right now. It's either black or white.
This is what I saw in you. I saw all that you were saying. I saw the confusion. You look at all around us, and I could feel you. And when I could hold you long enough to stop, you get a little more release, and you can look at me a little bit longer.
Yes.
But when we do that more often, you'll be able to look me in my eye, and I look in your eye, and we'll see the love that we have in each other as people.
When we first started this, veterans used to tell us all the time, civilians can't understand our experience. And what I would say is that's partially true, but it may also be true that if you can try and express it and tell your story, we can move a little bit closer to that.
I feel like today, when I was walking with my younger self, was the first time I looked at myself and appreciated who I actually am. It was nice to finally see myself in an image that I've never seen myself before. It was very hard to do that. When you said, what would you tell yourself? I told myself that I'd never give it up. It's hard to believe that I wanted to give up before. It's hard to talk about that right now too, because it's real, man. That was really tough.
So what's it feel like now that you've had that little exchange?
It feels incredible, man. It really does.
Now we're going to do two-person scenes and sort of put you into a moment in a play.
And then basically the rest of the day we do scene work, and we stand them up generally 2 by 2.
We'll put everybody into a Shakespeare scene.
There be some such, no question.
Wouldst thou do? Wouldst thou do?
We use our techniques to work the scene. There's one of us at each shoulder of the participants.
I think thou wouldst not.
I think thou wouldst not.
So the word comes into your ears, or we simply ask that you repeat them.
This first couple of scenes that we'll do will come from Shakespeare's play Julius Caesar. So this scene is well towards the end of the play. Most of the conspirators have been killed. Cassius and Brutus are the only ones left. We are going to have essentially the final battle that's going to determine which set of these Roman fighters is going to win and take over Rome. that you have wronged me
That you have wronged me
doth appear in this.
doth appear in this.
You have condemned and noted Lucius Pella.
You have condemned and noted Lucius Pella.
We do Shakespeare only. There's a whole raft of reasons why we do Shakespeare and not modern plays.
What Shakespeare did was he just kept digging deeper and deeper into what it means to be a human being.
And when you inhabit those giant stories and you're speaking in verse, in the poetry of Shakespeare, it's full of metaphor and imagery that allows a kind of larger space of imagining yourself in that.
You know, a lot of people had a horrible experience in the military and hated it, but everybody who comes out of the military misses the camaraderie.
And the other thing is hard. That's hard. It's nice to do hard. And that's something that happens in the military all the time.
We have a second technique where we ask rather provocative questions.
When have you had to curse out a good friend before in your own life? You know that you are Brutus that speak this.
You know that you are Brutus that speaks.
We don't ask them to answer the question. We just drop that question and then repeat the line of Shakespeare's text.
The name of Cassius.
The name of Cassius.
What part of his body would you go for first to defend yourself? The name of Cassius.
The name of Cassius.
What we're really trying to do is to pop some kind of emotion or some kind of memory.
When they say the next line, some of that energy, some of that feeling, some of that color goes into the speaking of the line.
I, an itching palm.
I, an itching palm.
Did he just accuse you of being a thief? I, an itching palm.
I, an itching palm.
When we first came into the VA, they asked us how we were going to respond when the veterans got really mad. And we were like, that's the point, is for them to have a place to put that and to be able to express it healthfully. And because it's a safe context, they're doing it in the context of theater.
I am a soldier, I.
I am a soldier, I.
Older in practice.
Older in practice.
Abler than yourself to make conditions.
Abler than yourself to make conditions.
Billy. Nice. Have a seat, gentlemen. Please.
Having some fun now?
David, because he's brand new to this, how are you feeling?
I feel elated. I honestly do.
You just had a big fight. How can you feel elated?
That was unexpected, but it was in a good way. It was very, very different to be in a confrontational environment without there being
Consequences.
consequences. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
I couldn't understand why I was having such a hard time being at home with my wife and being with my kids, and having problems with aggression and substance abuse. I will be honest, I had no intention at all of participating. I found a part of myself that I didn't know existed. And as I say that, I'm getting the goosies right now. It really just kind of gave me a different level of therapy that I didn't know I needed.
You know, this is the new paradigm for what we should be looking at, is making life better for people. And rouse him at the name of Crispian. We're not at a point where we know exactly what cures trauma and moral injury.
He that shall see this day and live old age.
But we know that there are things that make people's lives better.
Will yearly on the vigil feast his neighbors.
And what we do makes people's lives better.
And say tomorrow is St. Crispian.
Upon St. Crispin's Day.
We feel.
We
Look around. Yeah, we feel. We happy few. As happy as we can be on a day like this. We happy few.
That's enough.